Hello everyone and welcome back to After Hours Gaming Week 2 matchups. Right now we're about to have Epic Delta going up against Petroglyph Games. As we are already in the picks and ban phase, we'll take a look on over. The bans coming out were for Epic Delta, Kale, Pantheon, and Katarina, while Petroglyph opted to remove Ezreal, Janna, and Jarvan the Fourth. Right now, the first pick for Epic was that Leona being taken, and over on red side, it is a Lulu and a Caitlyn. So now we are all caught up. Get to talk about the two teams. Epic Delta, of course, is playing for the Doctors Without Borders charity, while Petroglyph Games is representing Child's Play. So once again, great causes on both sides. And wonderful cause for After Hours Gaming League and all these corporations to be playing for these different charities, helping out great causes and just making an impact in the community. As we do see, it is Ziggs and Hecarim being picked up. We just saw Hecarim in the earlier game today, so we'll have to see if this one can be as effective as the one from Intel, as there is a Vi and then Orianna being picked up by Petroglyph. So we'll have to see what the last two picks for Epic Delta are going to be. They have very likely their support, and of course I would say it's very likely going to be the jungler for that Hecarim, but we have seen Hecarim come out of the top lane and be very effective there, so don't want to make any assumptions too early right now, as it is now, of course, Ziggs almost guaranteed to be Ziggs in that mid lane. So that one is pretty safe to say is going to be happening. I don't think we're going to see anything weird going on with the Ziggs pickup, as we do see actually the Aurelia being hovered. Only a couple seconds left for them to make these decisions, as it is looks like it will be Aurelia and Jinx. So very likely is going to be that Hecarim in the jungle with Aurelia for the top lane, and actually Corki being switched over to it the last second for Epic Delta. Meanwhile, red side now picking what they want for their last pick, and it is in fact going to be a Rumble getting locked in. So Lulu as the support, very likely, with Rumble in that top lane. Both teams are going to have about a minute or so to make trades, set their summoner spells, take care of their runes and masteries. And of course we get into that 3-minute spectator delay so looking at the two teams, I have to say that I do like Petroglyph's team composition a bit better. They have a lot of the AoE damage with Orianna and Rumble. That is just such a huge combination of ultimates. You have Rumble put down the equalizer, and then Orianna with that shockwave. She can catch multiple people on top of an equalizer with that shockwave. It is just absolutely devastating to a team fight. So I'll have to see if if they can pull off that combo. Whereas over on the blue side, they do have a lot of lockdown. Of course, if you have a Leona, you just have a lot of lockdown by default. So, and then Hecarim with that fear, and of course Aurelia able to do some stuns and slows in there as well. It's going to be an interesting matchup to see which of these two teams is going to come out on top. As we are now into that 3-minute delay. Take a look at the summoner spells in that top lane. Aurelia opting to take the teleport while Rumble goes for ignite. A little surprising to see, as a lot of times Rumbles like to have that teleport to be able to move around the map, but Raw Dog, your dad, with the Rumble going to take the ignite, looking for that extra kill potential. Over in the mid lane, we see Ziggs actually opting to use heal up against the Orianna, who has exhaust. It's a little bit unconventional, I'd say. A lot of times you see mid laners, if they want that defensive summoner, it is either exhaust or barrier. And I would more expect to see a barrier up against an Orianna than a heal. However, I do like Orianna taking the exhaust. The exhaust is not necessarily going to be for Fizz. I think it's going to be more for either the Hecarim or the Aurelia when they try and jump in the mid to late game. The junglers, of course, Vi versus Hecarim. I'm still not too terribly familiar with the Hecarim pick, so I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know it too well. I know that it has been pretty strong recently, but that Vi pickup, Vi is, in my opinion, one of the stronger junglers in the game right now, right up there with the Jarvans, and she can really just turn a game around by focusing on picking a lane and just focusing it. She can gank so early, and her ganks have such devastating potential with the Vault Breaker, and then once she's level 6, the Smash and the Assault and Battery. That's what it is. As they will be the bottom lane matchup then of Corki and Leona, with the going up against Caitlyn and Lulu, standard summoners down in that bottom lane. So we'll have to see which side can come out on top. I do believe that both teams are coming into this at 1-0, as well as the last game. So I have to see who's going to be joining Intel in the ranks of the 2-0 teams, and who's going to be dropping down to 1-1. We do have about 45 seconds left until we get to that loading screen where we can see those wonderful skins, see which team is going to have that mental advantage of the skin wars, if any of them do.
I'm a music journalist, author. You're dreaming. Shut up. Sit down and shut up. I don't want to hear a word come out of your mouth. Why won't you listen to me? You're dreaming. Outside life's great, but inside you're screaming. It's not how you thought it would be. Are you hoping for something? Waiting for some sign? Time to jump in or simply get the hell out. I think you better make up your mind. Your perfect world.
Alright, we are now onto that loading screen. Get to take a look at these skins for Epic. There is not a single skin in sight, where Petroglyph has all 5 champions with this skin: Dragon Trainer Lulu, Headhunter Caitlyn, Officer Vi, Winter Wonder Orianna, and Bilge Rat Rumble. They did miss the chance to have the Officer pairing of Officer Caitlyn and Officer Vi, but it's still 5 skins to none. That's the skin intimidation factor is going to be going over to Petroglyph. We'll have to see if they can turn that into a win on the Rift itself. But as we are seeing everyone just loading up, and in just a few moments we will be getting in game and letting the two teams go at it.
Truth wakes you from your dreaming so inconveniently. all for nothing. Your plans were redesigned. It's a shame you didn't stand for something. Now it's too late to make up your mind. Your perfect world has been upset, and this is the best it's gonna get. Your perfect world has been upset, and this is the best it's gonna get. Your perfect world has been upset, and this is the best it's gonna get. Your perfect world has been upset, and this is the best it's gonna get.
Alright, we are now loaded onto the Rift, which does of course means time to let everyone buy up their initial items and then head on out into the jungle, see if they can get into position for an early level 1 fight, or if they do decide to just play it safe. We are going to be letting them get on down there. Looks like everyone is pretty much splitting up. Doesn't look like there's going to be any big level 1 fights going on in this matchup. As once again, it is Epic Delta on the blue side with the Aurelia, Hecarim, Ziggs, Corki, and Leona lineup, while Petroglyph Games is coming from the red team. Rumble, Vi, Orianna, Caitlyn, and Lulu. Have to see which one of these two teams will be picking up their second victory in the After Hours Gaming League, and which one will be falling to 1-1. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a passive start to this match. Aurelia and Ziggs just hovering around, making sure that there's no invade on that top blue buff, while Rumble is just kind of hanging out up there, doing the same thing, using his Trinket Ward to protect the second entrance to the jungle. While it does look like both junglers are going to be starting on the bottom portion of the jungle, the Gromp very likely for the Vi, while I highly expect the Hecarim to move on down to that Krug camp, which is where he's going with the Leona and Corki right now. So both junglers getting the support of their bottom lane to help out on these first camps, which is the very standard play. You don't usually expect to see much different other than that. Lulu and Caitlyn has the potential to be such an aggressive lane here in the bottom that, you know, Lulu with the extra shots coming out can be so aggressive. If she can land those glare lances, it just makes life absolutely miserable for enemy bottom laners to go up against. Those phosphorus bombs from Corki though are gonna be able to put out a lot of damage back, but not as frequently. He's going to have a lot more mana problems than, you know, a Lulu is going to. With that Spell Thief's Edge, just going to be constantly trying to harass, getting that extra gold every time she attacks. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Rumble and Aurelia. Rumble, both these champions really known for being aggressive lane bullies. So we'll have to see which one of them can bully the other one out of lane harder. That's going to be a very interesting matchup to keep an eye on. It is right now early on going in favor of the Rumble, 11-5 CS, but you know, no game has ever been won within the first 3 minutes. Orianna doing some good damage onto the Ziggs, but so far able to keep up pretty well in CS, as there's the first real trade coming out in that top lane. Aurelia coming out a little bit on top, but it was very, very close. You know, not enough to really give her a full-on advantage in that lane. She does, of course, have that Crystalline Flask. This could give her advantage, though. Hecarim coming in, but, oh, going to get flashed away by the Rumble. Nicely job there. Nicely done there by Rumble. Oh, nice Zenith Blade landing onto the Caitlyn, but there's going to be a lot of damage traded back onto this Corki as he gets exhausted. Lulu being so aggressive, just hanging out between the two enemy laners and putting so much damage down. Meanwhile, Hecarim just trying to make things happen. Really aggressive play from him early on. So he gets a lot of damage down to that Orianna. Bouncing Bomb did go through as well, and that's going to force Orianna to have to recall a lot earlier than I'm sure she wanted to in that mid lane. She gets back to base, just picks up a couple of fairy charms. And some potions to go along with it. Actually, trading one of those in for a mana crystal. While Aurelia doing a lot of damage to Rumble. She was on top in that trade, but then ended up taking a tower shot, which evened the health right back up. Of course, the fact that Aurelia has that teleport could be giving her an advantage in this lane, as she is going to be able to go back now and is going to be able to use that teleport to get back to lane significantly quicker than Rumble will be able to when Rumble does finally decide to recall, which it looks like that's what he's doing now as he backs off from the minions. So Aurelia actually choosing to possibly save the teleport for now. Not a bad decision. When your lanes are not getting pushed into your tower, you're not really at risk of losing much CS. You might lose, 2 or 3 to just minions, but she's not going to lose much at all by just walking back, and it just leaves that teleport up so that if a play opportunity arises in one of the other lanes, like if bottom lane goes super aggressive, she can teleport on down and try and help them out, or say they go for a dragon fight, she can have the utility to get out there while not using that summoner. While Vi hovering around that top lane, looking possibly to try and get involved in one of these lanes. She hasn't been able to do anything just yet. Meanwhile, Hecarim, on his first recall, decided to get a pair of boots as opposed to finishing off his jungle item, and that's a decision I don't agree with, because you get a lot of extra gold when you upgrade that jungle item. You get a lot of extra gold for your jungle camps when you do so, and it's not very expensive to do it. So I really feel like he should have upgraded that instead of getting the boots. I mean, yeah, the mobility on Hecarim is huge, but he does go back now, does upgrade into that Stalker's Blade. Meanwhile, Rumble getting the better of Aurelia there, actually going to pick up a first blood. The minions, as well as that ignite damage, able to tick down and get him that kill. And that is not good news for Aurelia. If she's not going to be able to trade with this Rumble, it's going to be a very difficult lane to deal with, because a fed Rumble is absolutely terrifying. While in this bottom lane, Corki taking a lot of harass once again. He's out of potions as well, although so is the Caitlyn. But both of them just waiting on the ability to go back, get their BF swords, or Corki, one of the few AD carries that doesn't necessarily rush to BF sword into the Infinity Edge, because he does like to get that Trinity Force. However, he does have a pretty sizable lead right now. 52 to 36 CS in his favor. It is going to give him about 1700 gold, while Caitlyn is still sitting at about 1360. So Caitlyn has some ways to go before she can get her first big power spike item, whereas Corki is going to be able to go back and get a Sheen and possibly more, especially if they stay in this lane, which it looks like they're perfectly okay with doing. You know, Caitlyn's starting to try and do what she can to catch back up in CS, but Corki is just so good at the early CS game with those phosphorus bombs, with that machine gun running. He's able to just keep that CS lead for now, while Aurelia and Rumble continuing to trade. Very, very aggressive top lane so far from these two. The thing that's kind of surprised me is the fact that Vi still has not made her presence felt in any of these lanes. And she's now level 6 though, so when she does gank, it's going to be really effective, as it looks like she's coming in onto this Aurelia. There's going to be the Flash Vault Breaker, the equalizer being put down, and a great job, Rumble and Vi coordinating themselves. Aurelia, there's nothing she could have done there. She was locked down completely by the Vi on top of Rumble's equalizer, and that's very similar to the combo they're going to try and pull with Orianna, of just forcing people to have to stand on top of that Rumble ultimate. It just shreds through health so quickly, and that is now the second kill for the Rumble. He has that Haunting Guys, or the Haunting Guys finished up, so he's going to be having that extra damage. Meanwhile, in this bottom lane, both AD carries did go back. Caitlyn had enough for that BF sword. Corki in the meantime got himself that Sheen and a longsword with boots, so there's a lot of fighting still going on in this top lane. Aurelia, despite having been killed twice, is still being super aggressive against this Rumble. She's going to have to be careful though, because he just took her down awfully low. While Hecarim is looking to come in for a gank, but he's very low, mostly just to scare off this Rumble, give Aurelia a bit of breathing room up there, because if he had gone in, it may not have ended well for him. Taking a look at this bottom lane, Corki continuing to have that CS lead and just doing a great job of bullying Caitlyn away from the minions a bit. While Rumble, just with that flame spitter, doing a lot of damage just while Aurelia's trying to get her CS. He's doing a great job. 36-60 up on the top lane CS advantage for Rumble. There's the ultimate from Leona, followed by the Zenith Blade. Corki's going to Valkyrie in, but the ultimate from Lulu is going to keep Caitlyn alive for now. But here comes the Ziggs bomb. That is going to do a good chunk of damage, but not enough to get kills. Meanwhile, the ace in the hole goes down. It's not going to kill Corki either, but there goes the Lulu flashing over, picking up the kill for her AD carry. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, that is going to be the successful gank from the Hecarim, and Ziggs actually rotating on down bottom. But Orianna came down as well, got herself a kill, and now the shockwave along with the help from Vi. That is Vi going to be getting the kill there. 5 for 2 in favor of Petroglyph on kills when everything is said and done. A great job by Petroglyph of roaming down and helping to collapse. You know, Ziggs came down first, but Orianna, realizing that Ziggs was gone, made her way on down to help out as well, and they were just able to start cleaning up a couple of kills. Caitlyn managing to escape with her life. She only got 2 assists, didn't get a kill out of that whole engagement, but I think she's just going to be happy that she didn't die, and getting those 2 assists is just a bonus. Now, 11.5 minutes in, both teams are going to start looking towards this dragon, as this is around the time when it starts to become a very serious objective for both teams. The vision being cleared out by each side, or being put down and then cleared out. It's more appropriate, as Hecarim now going for that Scuttle Crab. He's going to be able to pick that up for his team, get that nice little move speed and vision area outside of the pit. However, in this top lane, Rumble and Aurelia, Rumble of course not having that teleport, whereas Aurelia, it is on cooldown, so it's not available at the moment. But when that dragon fight does start up, she will have that summoner and be able to jump down and help her team, while as Rumble would have to have walked down there naturally in order to help his team with that objective. So it's going to be Interesting to see how they decide to play. Of course, if Aurelia does end up teleporting down to that dragon fight while Rumble stays up top, he can very likely get that turret with the alone time up there. So they'll have to decide how they want to trade that off, what they want to put more focus on, keeping Aurelia in the top lane to defend that tower, or making sure they pick up that first dragon of the game. Well, taking a look at the CS, a 20 CS lead for the Corki over the Caitlyn. Another about 10 to 15 for Orianna over the Ziggs. The big CS lead though, 30 CS ahead, Rumble over the Aurelia. However, here comes the gank from Hecarim, going to be just pushing Rumble to the side. He's doing what he can to get away, but it's not going to be enough. Aurelia getting herself a kill in that top lane. That is going to be really big in helping her just keep her relevant in the game, make it so she doesn't become entirely useless up there. So getting that kill obviously going to help her out significantly. Meanwhile though, with Hecarim showing himself up in that top lane, Petroglyph has decided to just go for the dragon. They are going to get it, but they need to be careful. Aurelia teleporting down. The Ziggs ultimate was used to get a good chunk of damage before this even began. Corki and Aurelia going to get a kill onto Caitlyn. Right now, Orianna trying to escape with Lulu. The shockwave is only going to hit Corki, and Hecarim showing really great effectiveness roaming around this map right now. 3-0-1 for him as he gets himself a double kill, picking up both Orianna and Lulu. Hecarim being a lot more effective than I think a lot of people are ready for right now. He hasn't really seen a whole lot of play in any sort of professional scenes or in solo queue or anything like that, so maybe a bit of a surprise for a lot of people as Rumble trying to defend this outer turret. It's not going to work though. The ultimate from Leona did go down, only caught Rumble on the side of it though. If that had, you got to figure if that had hit square on, it may have been a re-engage here for Epic Delta, but mana bars were pretty low, so good decision by them to not try and go for it. So Epic Delta, after that initial fight going in favor of Petroglyph in that bottom lane, Epic Delta coming right back and taking that lead, 6-5 on kills, 1 tower, and of course about a 700 gold lead. Rumble up into that top lane to continue farming, trying to just keep himself ahead of Aurelia at this point now. He's still has a CS lead over her by about 30, so still is going to feel comfortable, but Aurelia did of course get that Trinity Force, which is going to, that's really her big power spike. Once you have a Trinity Force on Aurelia, you can just kind of start building tanky items and just go around just picking up kills onto squishy champions like the Orianna or Caitlyn. And of course just really the quintessential assassin. I mean, yeah, you have things like Zed or Fizz that are really burst heavy assassins, but Aurelia can just jump into a fight and just pick someone and be like, yep, you're not going anywhere, I'm gonna lock you down, you're just gonna be dead. And then she can continue to deal that damage to everyone in the fight. Whereas, champions like Zed or Fizz, they're more of the picking one target and just killing them, and then they have to wait a couple seconds before they can do that to another target. Aurelia can just do that damage continuously. Looks like they're going to try and shut her down here. Vi, once again, the second time they've been able to pull that off, of the equalizer going down, and then Vi just locking her up on top of that ultimate. Rumble once again getting the kill up there. Vi at 1-0-2 with Rumble 3-2-0. Meanwhile, Epic Delta in that bottom lane did pick up the tower, so the global gold is going to be a little bit more beneficial than just the kill gold, but now Vi and Rumble want to try and work down this tower here in the top lane. Hecarim there to defend it though, will actually keep it up for now. Get to listen to Ziggs for a little bit. Mad inventor himself. There's a lot of inventors in inventors/mad scientists in League of Legends if you think about it. When you have Ziggs, you got Heimerdinger, you got Victor, you got Singed. It's at least 4. You know, that's a good number when you think of like the other champions that of what they do. Like, there's no one else in the game that's a robotic living girl like Oriana. There's a couple of different cops. You know, you got Vi, Caitlyn, uh, Jace. Technically, not really. There's only one dude that flies an airplane. That's Corky. there's four or five. Nope. I guess you can count Mundo too. Dr. Mundo, another kind of mad scientist slash inventor type dude. There's a few of them. Random ramblings aside, take a look at the CS lead Corky has continued to improve upon in that bottom lane. Trinity Force on him completed as well, so that's that. The mid-game power spike for Epic Delta is in full effect right now, and I'm going to be expecting them to just be starting to try and roam around and look for fights because they have these two Trinity Forces. Those mid-game power spikes are really big for both Aurelia and Corky. They're at that point where they can start bullying people around, and they need to take advantage of it. Right now they're still just kind of sticking in lanes, just pushing things around, but not really going for any big fights. However, Vi and Rumble looking to team up onto the Aurelia again. There's the equalizer. This time Aurelia will get off of it, but now Hecarim with the counter gank. They are going to be having a straight up 2-on-2. It is both Rumble and Vi and Aurelia are going to go down. The shockwave in this bottom portion doesn't connect with either Corky or Leona. The Leona ultimate does, though, landing onto both Oriana and Lulu, stunning them up. As Caitlyn coming around the backside is going to force them to back away. However, that top lane fight, both Vi and Aurelia falling to the enemy jungle and top lane respectively. So Rumble getting that 4th kill up there. He is really, really strong right now. But so is this Hecarim. They are both sitting on 4 kills. But Rumble does, of course, have that CS lead. However, that CS lead is a little misleading because of the fact that junglers get so much gold for their CS. You know, because they're going to be killing those jungle camps, which are just worth more to begin with. And then with that extra bonus gold from having a jungling item, they are just going to... You know, each CS for the junglers is worth more than each CS from the laners. So I feel like Hecarim had a small advantage up there, and that is why Rumble chose not to engage on it. Especially because Hecarim has that magic resist from the Mercury Treads and the Spectre's Cowl. Take a look, Dragon is live for both of these teams. Once again, Petroglyph having the first one. To see if Epic Delta can contest a second one, or if Petroglyph will get that second buff, while Aurelia clears out that tower up in the top lane. That is the 3rd tower. All 3 outers are down in favor of Epic Delta. Petroglyph starting up this dragon, but everyone is going to be around to contest this. Aurelia has that teleport active and ready to come join in if it's needed. Petroglyph backing off, not wanting to go for a full-on fight just yet. They want to try and pick someone off and get a get themselves into an advantageous position. Looks like they're going to chase down this Hecarim right now. Here comes the teleport from Aurelia. The equalizer goes down, and fight on the back lines. A nice Oriana shockwave comes through, but a beautiful Ziggs ultimate as well. That's a double kill for the Hecarim. Vi gets one, but it's only the Leona. Meanwhile, Hecarim is on a triple kill rampage, 7-0-1. What a great job from this Hecarim coming out, and that should be the Dragon going over to Epic Delta as Ziggs and Hecarim go and work on that, while Corky and Aurelia push up this bottom lane. What a great fight from Epic. 11-8 now in terms of kills, and a 4,000 gold lead in their favor, as they are going to get their first Dragon of the game, getting that 6% extra AP and AD. Ziggs trying to jump out of the pit. Don't worry, nobody saw that other than everyone that watches this video. But you just got Dragon and won a team fight, so you're allowed to make a mistake or two there. Petroglyph gonna have to try and figure out a way to have a cleaner fight there. It almost seemed like there was a little lack of communication, or maybe just a missed call there, because Vi went really aggressive onto the Leona on the backside, while it was a lot of damage coming off onto the back lines where Caitlyn and Orianna and Lulu were standing, whereas Rumble and Vi were being really aggressive and trying to get onto the back lines of Epic. But if you need to really protect your own back lines as well. Like your beefy front line, which is going to be this Rumble and the Vi, is going to be their front line damage soaking but bruiser damage dealers too. But they need to be able to, yeah, go after the enemy team's squishier characters, but you need to be able to protect your own, because as we just saw, if you don't, then Epic Delta is going to be able to just constantly pick up those kills, and if they can take out the champions in the back early, then there's not enough damage from the Vi and Rumble alone to clean up these fights. Petroglyph answering the towers with one of their own, getting their first tower down in this mid lane. They going to help. You know, the global gold, always a welcome sight for a team. They are still just a bit behind though, only about 3,000 gold, so not too bad. It's definitely not a lost cause yet, and it is a game that either team can win. Petroglyph's just going to have to be a little bit more careful in their next team fight. They can very easily win a team fight though. It's not like they're just outclassed or anything like that. It is a very close matchup. It's just going to be a matter of getting your abilities down on the right targets and being able to lock people up with that AoE damage that you have from the Rumble and the Orianna. If they can use that effectively, then they can very easily turn these team fights in their favor. Epic Delta pushing in through this mid lane a bit. Rumble is going to go find Hecarim, but doesn't want any of that. Hecarim is still very, very strong. 7-0-1, and that's going to be the key. If they can kill the Hecarim and the Corki, it's going to make these fights a lot easier for them, because Aurelia really hasn't been able to do a lot. Corki hasn't really done a whole lot himself either, but he does still have a lot of CS and has a lot of damage to be putting into these fights. I mean, Aurelia does as well, but she's going to start building tankier, so she's going to have that true damage from her hitting style, but it's not going to be as much damage as a Corki is going to be just plastering into the fight with those rockets from the backside. However, it looks like the Epic Delta is going to be rotating up to this top lane, and Petroglyph, I don't think they're going to be able to answer this fast enough. The minions were just about at the tower. Wonderful job from Epic Delta with this rotation. But now Petroglyph may be looking for a fight here. The equalizer does go down, but no one is going to follow this up. That minefield being laid down by Ziggs, almost acting like a wall right now. No one from Petroglyph wanted to walk over it. They do manage to save this tower, but that was a very good rotation from Epic Delta, getting about half of that tower's health down, and now just throwing some bouncing bombs in, just trying to get some poke damage down. See if they do decide to siege. It's going to be tough to siege against this team, because with the Rumble and Orianna and Lulu, they have a good amount of wave clear, so sieging towers is going to be difficult against this Petroglyph team. But at the same time, Epic Delta does have a lot of poke to do those sieges with. Between Ziggs and Corki just constantly throwing out abilities, then they can get the health bars for Petroglyph a little bit lower and go in for a fight possibly, but that's not what we're going to have happen here. They do back off of the top lane, start to rotate back down towards the middle. Both teams just working on clearing out Vi, trying to get engaged onto the Leona. She is actually going to, throwing down that ultimate, and that is going to be a clean pickup there for Petroglyph, and now they're going to have to rotate up towards this top lane. Fortunately for them, Ziggs is recalling, so they won't have too much to worry about up there. But nice job by Petroglyph finding someone that they could get a kill on and just picking it up. Every little bit of gold helps when you are behind, and they've actually brought this back underneath about 3,500 gold again, 11-9 on kills, and they need to really start working on these objectives though. They've been playing very, very defensively, and it's been what's allowed Epic to make these rotations and just move up and down between the lanes and keep things clear for them. They need to do a better job of going on the aggression and rotating themselves, moving around the map. Corki is pushing down this bottom lane He's probably going to back off as Rumble is about to get there to defend. So not going to accomplish a ton other than just forcing Petroglyph again to have to make that defensive call to move over and clear out those minions. But now with Dragon just going live, both teams are going to have that as an objective on their radar. Once again, as Epic Delta, of course, having the timer on it as they picked up the last one. Petroglyph, though, is going to move down. They know that it is up. The Scuttle Crab did go over to Epic. So having that extra little move speed area, Petroglyph looking for a chance to get in on this. Aurelia is in the top lane, but she has that teleport. Oh, Vi finding the Corki, but of course not having that ultimate ready just yet. The fight is going down, the equalizer being put down. A nice job by Petroglyph getting the damage onto who they need to. They shut down the Hecarim, but Caitlyn is all alone with Aurelia just doing damage. Fizz and Aurelia just gonna clean house here right now, as Corki did manage to escape. Lulu and Orianna getting dropped very low. Orianna does fall. Aurelia jumping in. That is a triple kill for the Aurelia. Vi is going to get the shutdown though, and it is just Ziggs and Vi left alive over in that bottom side. But in the meantime, Leona and Corki got out with their lives as well. Leona's still very healthy, so they're going to start with this dragon. They're going to be able to pick this up. There is no vision from Petroglyph on this, so they're not going to have the timer for the next dragon. That's going to be very unfortunate for them, but that is the second dragon buff going over to Epic Delta. Going to get that extra 6% damage to buildings and structures. Petroglyph, again, it started off really good. They got the engagement onto the Corki. They were able to take down the Hecarim, but unfortunately for them, the Ziggs and Aurelia able to just clean up on the backside. Again, no one there to protect the Caitlyn and the Lulu and the Orianna, as that's actually going to be Rumble just being aggressive, getting a one-on-one kill against the Ziggs. Nicely done. Raw Dog, your dad, able to pick up the kill. 5, 4, and 3. He's doing a really good job for this Petroglyph team, along with the Vi sitting at 5, 2, and 3. And really, the game's been on their backs, and it's kind of going as they go. And they make a really good play. It helps out the team a lot. The team starts to do really well, but then once they are just too far extended on trying to get their targets, it's just the Caitlyn, Orianna, and Lulu have not been able to do a whole lot because of the fact that, you know, Aurelia or Hecarim or Fizz has just been able to get onto those back lines and get the damage out onto those squishier champions. Petroglyph 15 to 12. They are down 1,000 gold now to 45, so 4,000 gold lead in favor of Epic Delta. They've been doing a great job in these fights of kind of making them the chaotic fights that they need. That's where they more excel. Whereas Petroglyph wants to have the straight up, everyone together, grouped up together, you know, going in on each other in a closed space fight. Whereas Epic Delta really excels at the kind of chaotic, spread out, multiple different small skirmishes going on at the same time, because of the fact that they have those single target damage dealers that predominantly Aurelia, but that's really where they excel and what they've been able to do. They've been able to turn these fights that start off as a closed quarters fight that Petroglyph wants. They've done a great job of just spreading out and not letting themselves stay together to be clumped up for that shockwave, for that equalizer. Now Epic Delta pushing in onto this inner tower in the mid lane. We'll have to see if they are going to try and siege this up for if they're going to prepare themselves for an extended siege, or if they're just holding out, looking for an opportunity to rotate. Caitlyn is not with Petroglyph. Just trying to get some CS, get herself back into this game. She is really far behind the Corki in terms of CS and gold. If you take a look, she is about almost 3,000, 2,500 gold or so behind. Mid lane matchups pretty close. Everywhere else is relatively close, as there's going to be an engagement. The shockwave was used and as well as the Ziggs bomb. They are now going in. The Leona getting taken very low. Equalizer being put down, splitting up the team. The Assault and Battery going through, but with that wild growth from Lulu, that's going to lock up a lot of champions. A lot of low health bars here from Epic. They are going to get 3-4 kills. Petroglyph Games cleaning up. What a great fight for them. That is exactly what they needed. 4 kills for none, and they're going to just shove down this mid lane as hard as they can. Aurelia, the only one left alive. She is very healthy, but she's not going to be able to defend this. The inner turret is going to go down. Petroglyph picking up their second tower of the game here, and they're not going to stop. They've got 10 to 20 seconds on all these death timers. Only 1 minion there, but with all 5 members of the team, they are going to be able to pick up this inhibitor tower. I don't think they'll be able to get the inhibitor itself, as they are in fact going to back off, but that is still great for them. What a huge fight, being able to open up that base. No inhibitor tower in that mid lane, and just again able to get the fight that they wanted, get those AoE damages down, and that equalizer just keeping the team from Epic separated unless they wanted to fight on it. And Rumble and Vi doing work. They were able to focus down, get rid of the Hecarim early on. Really kind of took Corki out of the fight pretty early too, with that Vi ultimate, just holding him onto that equalizer. So, and if you can take out the damage dealers early, then that's all you have to worry about. You know, Leona, they've been focusing a lot onto Leona, which I don't feel like they should be, because yeah, Leona has a ton of utility, a ton of CC, but once she uses that, she's not going to be bringing a lot of damage to the table. So you can kind of just ignore her in these fights, and that's what they did. They got her low initially because she was the only one there to target, but then once they had other targets available, they immediately switched off, left Leona alive until the very end, and that's what they need to keep doing if they're going to continue to have fights like that. Meanwhile, Leona finding Vi there with the Zenith Blade and the stun, but she's going to be able to get away. Dragon is spawning in about 30 seconds, so the fight begins around it as Vi going really aggressive onto the Hecarim. He's very tanky right now though, and this is not the fight Petroglyph wanted, as they are going to lose 2 immediately. The equalizer is going down there. Orianna's still at full health. Vi does finally fall for a double kill for Ziggs. 3-1 right now, and that is not what they were hoping for in the least with that engagement. I think they really underestimated or just underestimated how tanky the Hecarim has gotten, as he does have a Spirit's Visage and the Randuin's Omen, and with that, Dragon did respawn, and this is going to be the 3rd one going over to Epic Delta, getting that move speed bonus. And Petroglyph is going to be on their heels once again, looking to just defend, while Epic Delta is going to have a chance to go a little bit more aggressive, you know, after that fight. And although I feel like they're going to be a bit more careful, because the last time they went really aggressive, tried to push down and siege up a tower, was when Petroglyph got that big four-man fight where they took out 4 of Epic and didn't lose anybody, but then Epic just turning it right around and immediately picking up a bunch of kills for themselves. So great back and forth game right now. The gold lead is sitting at about 2,000 gold. Petroglyph has been clawing their way back in. Let's see if they can continue the comeback and complete the comeback, or if Epic Delta will be able to win another few team fights and just squash those dreams. Vision Wars. Both teams doing a great job of just getting Vision down, clearing out enemy wards as well. Hecarim's about to take out another one there for Epic. Right after Vi had just gotten one of those. Actually, he's going to get 2. Nice job using that buff from smiting the Raptor camp to be able to pick up 2 wards there. So that makes that camp worth 60 extra gold, essentially, because you got the gold for clearing the camp, and then 30 gold from each of those wards. It's a very valuable jungle camp there, the Raptors. A little bit of a lull in the action as both teams kind of try and decide what they want to do. We are now 37 minutes into this game. Baron is a viable option, but neither team's going to want to go for that unless they can get a pick or 2 first. Corky coming out on the side, doing a ton of damage to Oriana. The shockwave being used just on Corky. Oh my goodness, Vi being dragged all the way around the fight with that Valkyrie after the assault and battery. However, they are going to turn their attention now onto the Hecarim. The ace in the hole comes through. Leona's ultimate is going to stop the Lulu, but Vi and Rumble are just on the hunt here, looking to aggressive, but they are going to back off. I don't know why. Yeah, Oriana was low, but Vi and Rumble were still so healthy. They easily could have continued that fight and gotten themselves a couple of kills. Hecarim, Ziggs, and Leona were all very low as well. I feel like Petroglyph definitely could have continued that fight, but they were afraid of the Aurelia coming in and cleaning up. So they did decide to instead back off. And now Epic Delta looking to go aggressive onto this turret. They have it pretty low, but now Vi is going to get the kill onto Hecarim. Aurelia is now going to have to run away. The blue team turret in the bottom lane goes down to the minions. So Petroglyph, 4 towers to 3 now, and just like that, they are only 400 gold down. This is such a close game. These two teams are really just giving it their all, pushing each other to the limit, and neither team giving an inch right now. Everybody just kind of taking a moment, going back to their base, getting a couple more items. Rumble having that Rylai's Crystal Scepter for that extra slow on all of his abilities. Meanwhile, Vi, she got a kind of hybrid build of the damage and tankiness, which is what you typically see from Vi. Though she has that Trinity Force in Maw of Malmortius and Randuin's Omen, so gonna be able to be pretty tanky with those stats, but also still dealing out a lot of damage, as we have been seeing. Oriana and Ziggs both just trying to get as much AP as they can. And of course, those AD carries starting to stack up the damage. The Last Whisper is up on both of them to try and deal with the fact that the enemy junglers are just going to be so tanky with that armor that is being stacked. Aurelia also starting to stack up armor as well, along with Rumble. So armor everywhere to try and deal with these carries. And it's not even been the AD carries doing all the damage. It's been the junglers and the top laners predominantly for these two teams. Vi sitting at 9-3 and 6, Hecarim at 8-4 and 4. Petroglyph has done a really good job of kind of shutting down the Hecarim ever since he was so incredibly dominant early on, being 7-0 at one point, and they've now made him 8-4. So doing a good job of not letting him get the picks, and actually they're going to find him here in the middle of 4 members. Leona is going to get in, though he's so tanky, still managing to stay alive. The Oriana is going to fall. Corky went onto the back lines, got onto the Caitlyn, got himself a kill. Now Vi trying to deal with him, but Corky just has so much damage. Here comes the Rumble Equalizer, only going to be used for the Corky though. And all in all, that is a 2-for-1 in favor of Epic Delta. The Vi was also dropped so low, she has to get back to the base. She's going to just barely make it there with her life, and now Epic Delta going to try and possibly take this turret. It is down to under half health, but there is some defense coming from Rumble. However, it's not going to be enough. They get the turret. Leona being taken down very low as well. Meanwhile, they are going to be moving in to they go onto the Aurelia. She's going to get knocked up there with the Vault Breaker, and a double kill for Vi. And now Aurelia getting slowed up by the Rumble. He is very low. Aurelia's going to try and jump in, pick up a kill, but Rumble actually manages to take that and walk out with his life. Petroglyph turning it around, saying, hey, you guys stayed a bit longer than you should have, and cleaning up some kills. And again, just back and forth they go. Dragon is about to respawn. Petroglyph will be picking up their second dragon buff of this game. Ziggs trying to steal that dragon away, but not able to get it. We are 41.5 minutes into this game. These two teams just absolutely very, very even here. 20 to 23 in terms of kills, 62,000 to 62,000. A 300 gold lead is all that separates these two teams. We take a look at the actual gold itself, see that it's a 2,000 gold lead of Lulu over the Leona, but If you look at the other champions, you see Corki having a 4,000 gold lead over the Caitlyn, but then about 1,000 gold lead on Ziggs over the Orianna, but Vi then having a almost 3,000 or 2,000 gold lead over the Hecarim, actually almost 3,000. I was right originally, and then the two top laners being pretty even in terms of their gold production. So it's really just the difference of where the gold is at this point for these two, as again, not much is separating them. And actually Petroglyph, with that last tower that went down thanks to the minions, taking the lead. We'll have to see what they can do with this. They do actually, now the gold is pretty much dead even. That's just how close this game is. The Baron still has not been even looked at by either side. There's vision on it from both teams, but neither one has really made a move for it at all. Now Epic Delta is going to be trying to siege up these lanes using Aurelia as that split push. She has that teleport, and that is a really good decision from them. You know, someone's going to have to go deal with the Aurelia, and when they do, it's going to give Epic Delta an advantage in this mid lane. Or they're going to try and roam up and maybe catch people out as they try and move through. Rumble is going to be taken down to about half health there, but he's going to be regenerating that back up pretty quickly. Meanwhile, able to get in onto that inhibitor tower, but only temporarily, as the defense does come through. Back and forth they go. Both teams just looking for that one big team fight. Orianna tried to make the big play, but did not land the shockwave. That could be absolutely huge. Epic Delta should be aware of that and maybe try and go in on this, but instead they're just backing off. But all of Petroglyph is chasing them while Aurelia is all alone in that top lane. She's going to take that inner turret, and now she's going to back Petroglyph, trying to be on the aggression, which again, Epic Delta, I'm really surprised they didn't just turn around once that Orianna shockwave was used. Now Leona going to be taken very low. She jets down her ultimate to try and just slow things up. Here comes Hecarim charging in, but he's charging into the entire team. Equalizer's going down. Both Vi and Corki are going to fall. The health bars are so low for Petroglyph, but Epic Delta is not going to continue to chase. Everyone just backs off, ends up being 2 for 1 in favor of Petroglyph here. Things slowly turning. Death timers are so long at this point. 45 minutes in and counting. There goes a tower to the minions. All inner towers are now down for Petroglyph, so the tower lead is in favor of Epic Delta right now, as they are now pushing up this mid lane. Aurelia could possibly get in there, but there's going to be defense as soon as the minions get there. Both Lulu and Orianna coming to the aid of that tower, going to keep it from falling any lower than it is. It's only taken about a fifth of its damage, if even that much. We are now starting to get to that point where the gold lead isn't that much of a factor. We do still see a couple people are a few items from full, but people starting to get to that fifth and sixth item is when really the gold lead is almost negligible. Still have a little ways to go before we reach that point though. Caitlyn with 3 completed items, however Corki has 4, so that's a big item disparity on those two AD carries. But then you look at the junglers, and you know, Vi sitting at 11, 4, and 10 with 4, technically 5 completed items, because if you count those boots, to Hecarim having 4, so 5 to 4 in favor of completed items. Hecarim is still very close to the Vi, but the Corki lead is so crucial for Epic right now. He's been able to keep them in these fights. He hasn't gotten the kills, but he's been able to get a lot of assists. And right now, Petroglyph trying to shove down this mid lane. They have the positional advantage. They are going to get this inhibitor. They caught Epic Delta out of position. Epic Delta was trying to get vision down over by the dragon, and Petroglyph, very nice map awareness, able to say, hey, we can go in and just start this. They go and get the inhibitor. Leona trying to go aggressive onto this fight. That's a lot of damage coming through from the Ziggs and Hecarim though. So Petroglyph, they got the inhibitor, but at what cost? The equalizer has been used. Rumble trying to do what he can, but he is going to fall. A double kill for this Hecarim. That's 2-0 right now, and they're going to continue charging on through. Aurelia teleporting into the back lines is going to find the Caitlyn and the Lulu. Will she be able to get herself any kills, though? No, she's going to back off as they do get back into their base. And the back and forth struggle continues. Sitting on a 47.5-minute epic right now. The inhibitor has gone down, though, so Supermains are going to start pushing into Epic Delta's base as they look for their 4th dragon of the game. There is not going to be any contest from Petroglyph on that because they do not have any vision or nobody in the area. So 4th dragon picked up from Epic Delta, which does mean if that 5th one does spawn, it's going to be a very, very important dragon for them to try and get. Petroglyph gonna have to try and defend here. They still have 10 seconds until Rumble will be back up. And then we'll be back at the 5-on-5 even strength. Really nice job in that last fight. Leona just being so aggressive. She was entirely on her own and just decided, you know what, we're going to go in, we're going to go for this fight. She got deep into the enemy team and just caused chaos within the Petroglyph ranks. They weren't sure who to necessarily focus when everyone started to collapse on them. They tried to go after Hecarim. They were still trying to go after Leona. You know, they went for Leona immediately because she was the one that was there. But they're so tanky. The Hecarim, the Leona have so much health, so many defensive stats that they just were not able to instantly kill them. But then everyone else from Epic was able to just rush in and pick up the kills. Now we could be having another fight. The Leona ultimate was used there, not to great effect though. Let's see if Petroglyph will try and take advantage of this as they are trying to get back into position to defend this inner tower, or this inhibitor tower, I should say. Looks like Epic wants to just go clear out the jungle, possibly rotate towards this bottom lane instead. They are a bit split up right now, so they have to be careful. Aurelia, without that teleport being up, is not going to be focusing on the split push. However, Epic Games is still going to use that split push tactic. However, just having Corki shove out this bottom lane, they finally realized that Corki is just so far ahead. 360 CS on him. That is almost 100 more than, actually it's well over 100 more, over 150 more than Caitlyn, almost 100 more than his mid laner. The only one even close to him is that Aurelia at 312. So great job by Epic Games or Epic Delta of CSing and getting that gold onto their champions despite not necessarily having all the kills, especially in terms of that Corki. As Vi going in again, going onto the Leona though, but using that just as a stepping stone to get onto the Ziggs. However, there's the nice shockwave, or the Hecarim charging in. That is the equalizer being put down, trying to keep this team split up. Aurelia is getting taken down very low, but Corki is just shredding through this Rumble right now. However, Vi on the backside is going to get the kill onto Ziggs, and the shutdown gold going over to her. That is going to be a 3 for 2 in favor of Petroglyph, but they are both very low. Corki still up and pushing in this mid lane with the Hecarim. They are going to have to back off. Hecarim is extremely low. Corki still at full health. Needs to be careful though because Vi is coming back down, just clearing out the wave though. And despite having those super minions pushing down the mid lane, Epic Delta has just been doing a great job of dealing with those super minions and keeping that lane pushed anyway. As now Petroglyph's going to start rotating around, pushing minions down in this bottom lane. Corki just going to go clear the minions in the top, as this game is just so close. It's literally one big fight away, but from just breaking wide open. The next, if someone can get a clean team fight win, it's going to be the game. We're 51 minutes in. Death timers are 70 seconds, if not longer, and that's such a long time to be dead. So one team clean fight victory is all it's going to take, but right now it's just each fight has been 2 for 3, 3 for 2, 4 for 2, things like that. It's been or the people that are getting away with such low health that they can't go and try and push afterwards. And it's been so close. It's such a tense game as to who is going to end up claiming the enemy nexus. "52.5 minutes in, Petroglyph starting to push in aggressively. Aurelia is in that top lane, but she's going to recall. Meanwhile, Petroglyph starting to back off now as well. Dragon is going to be up in about a minute. Again, if Epic Delta can get that dragon, it will be their 5th of the game, and it is just so difficult to fight a team that has that 5 stacked dragon buff. So Petroglyph is going to have to be careful. They don't have the timer on this dragon, though, unfortunately, which is going to make things very difficult. Looks like they are going to be rotating up through their own jungle, possibly going to clear out those minions in the top lane. However, Epic Delta knows that they only have 30 seconds until this dragon, and if they can get this, it's going to be absolutely huge for them. That could be, they may be able to pick that up and then just go shove in and look for a fight, because of all the extra stats you get with that dragon buff, doubling the 4 previous buffs, giving a true damage over time on hit. It's such a big boon to a team, and they are going to be picking this up. 5 seconds till dragon is live, and Petroglyph is nowhere close to the area. They have no idea when this is going to be spawning, and this is not going to be good for them. They are going to move over towards this Baron, but they're going to be seen by a ward from Epic. Epic's going to know that this is going on. However, they have that 5th dragon now to be able to move up towards this Baron with. The Baron is going down very quickly. Corki is going to be able to get there in time, maybe, but he's not going to be able to get in. Red team does pick up the Baron, but oh my goodness, Ziggs just blowing up the Caitlyn, and then, oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me Spectator just bugged out. It did. Oh no. 54 minutes into this game, and the Spectate client bugs out on us. We'll see if I'll exit the game. Maybe, hopefully, they're still in, and we can see the end of it. But that is just horrible. If that's... Nope, that is not the case. It is over. That is blue team picking up the victory. Congratulations to Epic Delta. I am very sorry that we couldn't bring you the end of that game. Unfortunately, Spectate Client is just a horrible, horrible thing, and decided to crash on us 54 minutes in, and Spectate Client breaks. So, I am really upset that we didn't get to see how that finished. But congratulations to Epic Delta picking up the victory, moving on to 2-0. Petroglyph Games dropping down to 1-0. That's going to do it for this cast of the After Hours Gaming League. I'll be having one more game a little bit later on tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and have a good one.